Well, yeehaw. Yeehaw and howdy, partners. How y'all doing? This is your friendly neighborhood Dr. Matt Dorsey, also known as the CHOQTOR, also known as CHOQ's Chief Scientific Officer, Formulator, and resident geek of everything natural health-wise. Thought I would just keep it real Texan today. Thought I'd have a little bit of fun. This is me. You guys, as you've been on this show, you've probably watched me little by little become more of my actual silly self and less of my, my more just stereotypically professional self. It's always funny when you're a medical practitioner and you're trying to be, real serious because people expect you to be serious. That's kind of part of the game, right? You take yourself seriously, but at the same time, I think that humor is healing. And at the end of the day, healing and medicine and health is what it's all about. And what could be more healing than not taking yourself too seriously and having an excuse to laugh once in a while, So I see myself as a clown doctor. And looks like I already lost a bunch of our viewers. They're like, this guy's wearing a cowboy hat. I'm not watching. He's obviously, he obviously knows nothing. Once again, wearing my Make Orwell Fiction Again shirt. Here we go. Yeah. We got all the regulars here. Marius, Chalky Wee, Sam, Hunter. Howdy, howdy. How you guys doing? Yeah, the hat's fun, I literally bought this at a gas station a couple months ago and just thought it was really funny. It was like $35. I was like, that's money well spent. Sure, what the heck? Makes a fun prop, go to a party or something or a music event. People are like, wow, that guy's wearing a cowboy hat. I did grow up in a small town in Texas called Magnolia. And, I was not one of the kickers, though. I never was into that stuff. I never listened to country music, any of that stuff. I obviously have a slight Texan accent, but, not real Texan like a lot of folks, Never did any line dancing, never rode any horses. Actually, my family did have a couple horses when I was really young, but I never really was too young to ride them. But yeah, I am a native Texan, and it is funny it's funny to be a Texan sometimes, Like, y'all want to go ride some four-wheelers? Yeehaw. I did say, though, also, one of my heroes is Patch Adams. He is a clown doctor. I don't know if you guys ever know, the movie I've still never seen, the one with Robin Williams, but that guy is really awesome. He's a clown doctor. He's an actual physician of like 50 years now or something, 40, 50 years. This guy's been a doctor. He's in his 70s or 80s or something. That guy is a genius, and he's an actual MD, and he does not take himself seriously at all. And he's dedicated himself to trying to help very, very poor people get medicine, third world country people who are just getting the shaft from the world economic system and have no medical care whatsoever. And the really cool thing about Patch Adams is that dude, he's an MD, right? He's one of the, the official, Western medical practitioners, but he's been doing alternative medicine since the beginning, man. He's awesome. Patch Adams, he's been doing stuff like acupuncture, chiropractic, nutrition, herbs since like the 60s, man. So Patch Adams, really cool dude. He has, ridiculous hair. He's basically just a living clown. He's an actual clown. And I went and actually did a cool clown trip. I was a clown doctor in Peru a little while ago. And a bunch of us just went down there. He's got this nonprofit. We just went down there, and there's these like really, really poor folks in Peru. Literally, they live in shacks. There's just like trash everywhere. It's crazy. And we did some like free clinics there and just cool stuff like that. And yeah, it's awesome. So, people like Patch Adams, they give me permission, even though I'm a serious medical practitioner with a lot of training, they give me permission to not take myself too seriously, So, and it's difficult though, because when when you have the title of doctor, people expect you to act a certain way, they want you to be real serious and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm just like, whatever, this is what I do now. This is my real self. I keep it real, and, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm a fairly silly person. So here I am. How are you guys doing today? Somebody says, do you have a bunch of guns? No, actually, I don't have any guns. Texans do like their guns, though. And actually, it's funny. When I was younger, I did have a bunch of guns because we had 14 acres growing up. And I could just go in the backyard and shoot stuff, you know. We used to shoot broken appliances. Like if there was a broken TV in the attic or something, you just take it out in the backyard and shoot it. Probably a really bad idea now that I think about it, because, I mean, there's all sorts of weird chemicals in there. It's probably really bad for me and really bad for the environment. But yeah, no, I got my first assault rifle, if you want to call it that, at 14. I got a Mini 14, Ruger Mini 14 when I was 14. And so I was a true Texan, I guess, back then. But no, I don't have any weapons anymore. At some point, I sold all my guns and I bought musical equipment because I played music back then. Still play some music, not in a band anymore. But yeah, that's part of my other life. You guys are getting to know me on a personal level. Let's see. So we got some questions here in the chat. Marius says, what solar protection do you use for yourself? Marius, by the way, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Marius, I don't know. But either way, I actually don't really use sunscreen, and I'm not saying other people shouldn't. If I did use sunscreen, I would use one of the, like something by like Alba probably is a really good line. Something that obviously only uses the mechanical zinc oxide based sunscreen. It works mechanically by reflecting light, whereas these chemical sunscreens, oxybenzone, stuff like that, really nasty. If you want to know more about that, check out EWG, EWG.org. They're the people who do the Dirty Dozen Clean 15. They have a lot to say about toxicity of different kinds of body care products, including sunscreen. I also do recommend, you might want to check out astaxanthin. It is an internal sunblock. Astaxanthin, really cool carotenoid kind of like nutrient. So similar in similar family to some extent on a molecular level to beta carotene, which is, vitamin A precursor. And astaxanthin you can megadose on. You can do a loading phase for a week or two, and if you're going to have a lot of sunlight exposure, it can actually help to protect your UV your cells from UV damage from the inside. Really cool stuff. A while back I tested this stuff out, and I was actually on a long trip where I was actually basically out in nature for almost 10 days. A lot of the time not even wearing a shirt, real sunny, not a lot of cloud coverage, and I almost burned a little bit at the end, but barely. And I used no sunscreen for like a week and a half almost. Like I think it was like 9 days. So astaxanthin, really cool stuff. It's also a mitochondrial nutrient. And it sure wouldn't surprise me if we had some astaxanthin in some CHOQ products in the future. I actually hung out with the astaxanthin people while I was in Las Vegas and chatted about what a cool molecule it is. So y'all definitely check out astaxanthin. Cool stuff. Really cool stuff. All right. All right. So what else we got here? Chalky Wee says, nice cowboy, or nice hat, cowboy. Thanks, Chalky Wee. You guys are liking the hat. Hello, Mohammed. How you doing? Sabir, nice to see you. I don't know. Are you new? If so, welcome. Michael, how's it going? Michael, I'm guessing, Michael, are you from Australia, or are you just speaking Australian right now? Shadow says, can you talk about NAC and bromelain? Yes, I would love to, Shadow. So here's the deal. It's funny. I was gonna take this thing off in the middle, but now I have weird hat hair, and you know what? Screw it. I'll just leave it on. Whatever. Okay. So NAC, N-acetylcysteine. NAC is a form of the amino acid cysteine. It's a bioavailable form of cysteine, right? You can also buy what's called L-cysteine, which is just a regular cysteine without the acetyl group attached to it. But when you attach the acetyl group to cysteine, it makes it more bioavailable, which is a $1 million word for gets into your body, absorbable, et cetera, right? So why do we take NAC? So NAC is freaking amazing because let's talk about glutathione. Glutathione, as you guys know, I am obsessed with glutathione. And yes, Apex glutathione will be coming back. See if I can get it in focus here. The focus is always kind of weird. I have to get myself out of the shot, the autofocus. Apex glutathione will be coming back. Yeah, it's not cooperating today. Sorry about that. But anyway, Apex will be coming back in a couple months. The new formula is totally amazing. It's going to be more of a nootropic, more cognitive benefits, and it's going to have organic milk thistle in it. So I'm obsessed with glutathione. We had NAC in here because NAC is an important precursor to glutathione. So glutathione, just so you all know, is critical for detoxification, right? For getting rid of toxins. It's also critical for your immune system, very, very important for immune function. And it's what they call the master antioxidant, meaning that it quenches free radicals, helps prevent your cells from being destroyed by free radicals. NAC, okay, so glutathione has 3 amino acids in its backbone. So if you look at the molecule, there's 3 different amino acids that it uses. Those 3 are cysteine, obviously, so we're talking about NAC, N-acetylcysteine, glycine, and glutamine, right? So now glycine and glutamine are cool, and people are like, yeah, you can take those and it'll help you build glutathione. But the thing is that your body has plenty of those already. You have plenty of glutamine, you have plenty of glycine. Cysteine is what's called, if you want to sound real fancy, cysteine is what's called the rate-limiting amino acid precursor to glutathione. Rate limiting, what does that mean? Rate limiting essentially means that, let's put it this way, however much cysteine you have limits the rate at which you can produce glutathione, right? So if you don't have that much cysteine, because you have so much of the other amino acids, your body's going to be like, well, we need that cysteine, right? That's the one we're waiting on. And so when you put more cysteine into the system using NAC, and again, I know this is probably maybe a more long-winded answer than you expected, but hey, that's what we do. We geek out here, right? But that's how the CHOQTOR does it. Sorry for referring to myself in the third person, by the way. It's just, it's fun to do once in a while. I try not to make a habit out of it. Don't want things to go to your head. But anyway, so rate-limiting amino acid precursor, cysteine. The more cysteine you have in your system, the easier it is to build glutathione. So certain powers that be have figured out that you can do really cool things with NAC, and I can't legally even talk about the clinical trials that they put NAC through for certain issues, because that would actually probably be illegal for me to do that. You can research it for yourself, but there are different theories as to why they're pulling NAC from the market. And the plan is that they're getting rid of NAC as a supplement, and they're going to make it into a drug. So there you have it. That's most likely why it's disappearing from the supplements. And that's why, again, my baby, Apex Glutathione, that I spent so much time on, it was out for 3 months, and I had to reformulate it. Brand new product, starting to get traction. Really sucks. Anyway, NAC is fantastic, and we did actually make some NAC plus bromelain a while back, and we never sold it. We were just kind of sitting on it, and so we're doing some promotions right now where we're giving away some bottles. Make sure you guys check all your CHOQ emails, also on the Telegram channel as well, because I'm sure we'll most likely be doing more of those promotions. And definitely, you guys want to, if you want to, it's one of those flash sale kind of things where you just got to be on it. So make sure you check all your emails, and then you'll be able to take advantage. So the bromelain, by the way, is also helpful. People like to take bromelain for healthy sinuses, for histamine support, things like that, for healthy inflammation response, stuff like that. So it often gets paired with NAC. But yeah, NAC is amazing. And the nice thing about NAC is it's cheaper than buying preformed glutathione. Of course, we have it all in here. We've got 12 ingredients in this bad boy. We've got S-acetylglutathione, we've got NAC, we've got jagulan, we've got all the different cofactors and in terms of vitamins and minerals, selenium, molybdenum, vitamin B6, folate, B12. This is, seriously, guys, this is the most comprehensive glutathione formula anywhere on the planet. I've never seen anything like this, and I'm not exaggerating. I've been in this industry for a while. I've been looking for a product like this, and I couldn't find one. So I was like, I'm just going to have to make it. And that's what Apex is. It is a very powerful formula. Also has a full 300 milligram dose of Bacopa in there, specifically the one called Bacognize, which is another trademarked, research-backed, clinically backed ingredient that we like to use, right? Because CHOQ's all about the research. And a full dose, 300 milligrams, clinically researched dose. Bacopa, obviously, a lot of people use it for cognitive support. But the thing is that if you actually look into the science behind Bacopa, it's actually upregulating glutathione in the brain. Yeah, that's right. So not only is this giving you glutathione, it's actually helping your brain produce more glutathione. So that supplement is awesome. And the new version is going to have more B6, so it's going to be better for mood. It's going to have ginkgo phytosome, 3x absorption ginkgo. So it's going to be really awesome for in terms of the cognitive support, brain support aspect. All right, somebody's asking about Telegram. Yeah, it's a CHOQ Life, right? Here, let me see. Yeah, t.me/CHOQLife. That is the Telegram. CHOQLIFE. All right, what else we got here? Somebody says, what about Coppertone? That one I think is probably a little on the mainstream side. Yeah. So if you guys are looking for body care type products, as much as Whole Foods is not completely legit, obviously for obvious reasons, I do happen to know, actually used to work there, do happen to know that just to be totally real, they have this premium body care logo on some of their body care products, and they have very real quality standards. And if it has that premium logo on it, there's a whole bunch of different chemicals that are nasty that's not allowed in there. And so you don't have to buy from Whole Foods, but if you went over there and shopped and at least saw which ones have that premium logo, those are the ones you can buy from, wherever we want to buy them at. But Coppertone, last time I checked, was not legit. No. Somebody also said, what do you think about bone broth? Bone broth is pretty cool. I'm from the school of Chinese medicine, right? And we love bone broth in Chinese medicine. We literally we invented it pretty much. I mean, maybe not, but Chinese medicine's been using bone broth for millennia. Bone broth can be really cool, but there are some downsides to bone broth, by the way. It can be very nourishing for the system. It's got some cool nutrients in it. Here's the problem, and I don't mean to offend vegans or, whatever, because veganism's cool too, right? I don't take sides in the food wars, but long story short, bone broth can have a lot of, by some accounts, a lot of what's called free glutamic acid, which is sort of a little bit kind of like MSG, not the same thing, and can be an excitotoxin. And so for some people who have overstimulated nervous systems and have problems with glutamate, heavy metals raise glutamate levels, it might not be a great idea. And here's the other thing about bone broth. There's all sorts of nasty toxins that might be stored in the bone. This isn't proven, but Dr. Stephanie Seneff, she does a lot of cool work. Check her out. See if I can spell her name correctly. Stephanie Seneff, PhD. She's done some really cool stuff with Dr. Mercola, who I have mad respect for, who I've learned a lot from over the years. Mercola's old school. He's awesome. And he's taking a lot of flack right now for his opinions on certain topics, right? He's part of the disinformation dozen. So poor guy. But anyway, but yeah, Seneff has actually talked about, just to relate this back to bone broth, Dr. Seneff has said that glyphosate is similar to the amino acid glycine. So if you actually look at a picture of the molecule side by side, you have glyphosate here, which is the active ingredient in Roundup, right? Pesticide. And then you have glycine, the amino acid here. They're very, very similar structurally, these two molecules. And so this is more theoretical, so I don't want to pretend that this is proven. But theoretically, the body could actually take glyphosate and use it instead of glycine. And what you would have then is you'd have proteins that were built out of pseudo amino acids that are dysfunctional. And you do get hyperaccumulation of pesticides in animal tissues. So when you eat, you get massive bioaccumulation of pesticides in animal tissues. You can actually get more pesticides from eating animals than from plants, oddly enough, because it bioaccumulates. Just like, for example, heavy metals, right? And also food chain, the fish that are higher in the food chain, like tuna, right? They bioaccumulate more of the mercury, right? So you do want to be a little bit careful. If I were doing bone broth, I would never do anything but grass-fed organic. Obviously, if it's beef, chicken, it's not grass-fed, but so get the highest quality stuff you can. Very important. But I'd be a little bit careful with bone broth, especially got somebody who's got nervous system stuff. You may or may not want to do it, but pay attention to your body. If you're doing bone broth and you feel overstimulated all of a sudden, it could be that maybe that glutamate in there is not doing good things for your brain. Again, some of this stuff, even the glutamate thing in bone broth, I'm not 100% sure on that. There's not always definitive research on this stuff, so I have to just go based off of what makes sense. and do my best to, figure it out. But there are some warnings with bone broth for sure. But it can be very nourishing. We'll chalk up the Black Friday sale. Sabir, that seems highly likely. Michael says Aussie born and bred. Very cool. Michael, what is it like in Australia right now? I've heard it's some crazy stuff going on in Australia, I heard. I'm curious, Michael, get your feedback. Diane says, where can I buy NAC? It is disappearing from online. The law right now basically is that here's how it works. You can still sell NAC as of now. The FDA could tomorrow just say, you're not allowed to sell anymore. They can do that anytime they want. They can just kind of do whatever they want, right? They're weird. But it's certainly possible that it might be around for a bit. But right now you can't produce it. You can't make any. So right now we're just selling through whatever was already made. And it might take a while because there's probably barrels and barrels, just thousands of tons of this stuff in all sorts of warehouses all over, but possibly people are importing it. I don't know about the importation regulations on NAC. I'm not sure how that works, but Amazon pulled NAC right off the bat. You can't buy it from Amazon anymore. You can still get it from iherb.com, iherb.com, right? And then, of course, when our Apex glutathione comes back out, that's going to be an amazing glutathione booster, even though it won't have NAC in it anymore. Very, very powerful for glutathione support. So, yeah. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? Chuck said, how do you spell that? Chuck, what were you referring to when you said, how do you spell that? How do you treat IGH? Okay, no, I can't do that. Let's see here. Somebody's asking about milk thistle. Let's see here. Got to scroll back up. Opinion on milk thistle tea and stinging nettle. Milk thistle and stinging nettle are awesome. Milk thistle, big fan. Like I said, this bad boy is going to have organic milk thistle in it whenever it comes back out and is re-released. And it'll have a full dose, of course, because we use active doses at CHOQ. By the way, in case you guys don't know, every single one of our products, everything we make, Armor, Action, all of our formulas are 100% full disclosure. 100% full disclosure. And hardly any companies do this. And what that means is we don't use proprietary blends. We tell you the exact dose of every ingredient in there. So there's literally no opportunity to BS you guys. There's no BS. Companies, and you know what? I've got a really cool video on this. You guys, I'm just going to have to show this to you or a link to this one here. CHOQ proprietary blend. Let's see if I can just pop this up by searching for it. Okay, you guys, or I'll say y'all definitely check this video out, man. It's called Proprietary Blends. They're trying to trick you. This video is awesome. And basically, again, I'm an industry veteran. I've been doing this for a while. Even though I look young, I've been at this for a minute. And I got to say, there's some real wacky stuff going on in this industry. And Proprietary Blends is part of it. Check that video out. Definitely go watch that video. Give it a like and share that one with your friends. Because proprietary blends are really messed up. It's a way of companies obscuring how much they're actually giving you. It's just a whole bunch of herbs, with commas after each one, and then one total of what they all total to. And I've actually seen a company, I've seen on the back end a certain company that I will not say the name of. I actually forgot their name, but I've seen on the back end, I've seen a manufacturing document for a company, and they literally had a proprietary blend where like a couple of the ingredients at the end of the blend were 1 milligram. I think it was like 1 or 0.5 milligrams. It's actually legal to do that. So you could have, for example, this proprietary blend with 10 herbs in it. And the last one is like rhodiola, for example, right? Which, of course, we love rhodiola because, we source the ultimate rhodiola for Action 2.0, which is ethically wild harvested, DNA barcoded, standardized to 5 different active compounds called Rhodiolife. Really amazing Siberian rhodiola in the Action 2.0. Always like to plug Action because it's just a really awesome product. But anyway, basically, You could put 1 milligram in there, which does absolutely nothing. You could get more rhodiola into your system by just walking by a rhodiola plant and smelling it, So anyway, just wanted us to say that CHOQ is a full disclosure company. There's very few companies out there who are full disclosure, and we tell you everything. We tell you every single excipient as well. And there's certain excipients like flow agents, things like that, that some companies also can omit some of those by law, and we don't ever do that. Even if it's a small, tiny percentage, we still put it on the label. So there's everything in there. Everything that's in there is on the label. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Somebody says, chalk me up, Chuck. Yes, absolutely. Okay, can you take too many minerals? I'm taking Irish moss shilajit, fulvic complex. Can you take too many minerals? Yes. Let's take it on a case-by-case basis. Certain minerals are very user-friendly. Certain minerals can get quite toxic in higher amounts. Selenium, for example, is a micro mineral. Apex glutathione, this guy right here. This has a pretty maximum dose of selenium, which is only about 100 micrograms, which is 1/10 of a milligram. You don't need much selenium. So there are laws about how much selenium you can put per serving in a product, right? You have to be careful with that. Other minerals you can dose harder on. So it's a case-by-case basis, But yeah, no, Irish moss shilajit, fulvic complex, that doesn't sound too crazy to me. Of course, blanket statement, always ask your doctor, right? Ask your doctor about everything, because, we got a CYA here. What about eye support? CHOQ eye support. Let me just rattle off a few nutrients for you. EPA, DHA, more DHA than EPA, but both actually. Those are your two main omega-3s. Get those from algae, not from fish oil, because fish oil is actually shadier than you think. Even the good stuff is shadier than you think. Learned that the hard way, just after, I was a fish oil guy for a long time. I only recommend algae now, but yeah, EPA, DHA, more so DHA than EPA, but both. Lutein, obviously vitamin A and all your different carotenoids. Astaxanthin could be on that list, could be helpful. Let's see what else. Various different minerals, help for eyes. Anything that involves microcirculation is helpful for eyes. So grapeseed extract, which we do have 2 amazing grapeseed extracts in Action 2.0. Action 2.0 is also a cardiovascular and vascular support formula, by the way. It's not just for energy. Grapeseed extract is awesome for your veins and arteries, for healthy blood flow. And ginkgo, which again, ginkgo is going to be in Apex glutathione. Ginkgo is great for eye stuff because it's also a circulatory support herb, and your eyes need good circulation to be healthy. So yeah, those are some eye supports for you. How can I filter my tap water at home? Mr. Babinski, I would say, I have the Berkey with the fluoride filters. I know there's a few folks out there who say that Berkey's not the end all be all and that some of their testing is shady. I don't have an informed opinion on that because I haven't looked into it deeply enough, but I've been using the Berkey with fluoride filters for a long time. Just FYI, the Berkey comes with a carbon filter that pulls out most things, but the fluoride filters are separate. So if you want to pull fluoride out, which I highly recommend pulling fluoride out, you do have to buy those separately. Of course, there's also reverse osmosis, which is pretty legit. Yeah. Okay. Are you vegan? I always get that question, Sabir. And actually, I have been vegan before, and it agrees with me really well. And I have nothing against veganism. I think it's actually awesome. Not against it whatsoever. I personally am a little bit more pescatarian these days. I like to eat salmon, things like that. I do eat a little bit of poultry and a little bit of beef once in a while, very rarely. I eat much less meat than the average American. And when I'm talking to my clients and friends and family, and they ask me my perspective on this, I say, eat less meat. People eat way too much freaking meat. We are obsessed with meat and protein in the United States, and it's completely insane how much we have been brainwashed to think that more protein makes us bigger and stronger. I will tell you that you can build all the muscle you need on a fairly small amount of protein compared to what you think you need. The vast majority of Americans are actually overdosing on protein, and that creates toxic breakdowns, products that are ammonia-based, that are rough on your kidneys. Protein's highly toxic to the kidneys, especially animal protein. So, there's a real dark side to protein, actually, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. Really isn't. But yes, no, I am currently not vegan. But I think veganism can be awesome. I will say also there are a lot of people I've talked to because I've been doing this for a while, and some people do claim that after a while doing vegan, they don't feel good and they eat a little bit of meat and they feel better. Now, why is that? Is that placebo effect, psychosomatic? Science, I don't think, has figured out why. But I'm telling you, though, I have to actually be real. A bunch of people have told me this. So maybe it's a genetic thing. Constitutionally, some people just need to have some meat. I know the hardcore vegans will disagree with that. But I'm just going off of personal, what people have personally told me, right? So I do think we are all genetically different. There's probably some reason that some people, just the way their ancestors ate, need to have at least some meat. Now, it doesn't mean that they have to just become a hardcore carnivore. I like to eat meat once a day, and I sometimes will even skip days, right? I try to eat meat any more than once a day, try to have a normal size portion, sometimes bigger if I'm just going for it, but, more of a special occasion kind of thing for me to have a larger, big chunk of beef or something like that once in a while. But, small amounts, more vegetables, more fruit. We need way more plants and way less meat in our diet. But yeah, veganism is awesome for a lot of people. I think it can do amazing things, especially if it's done correctly. So yeah, there's my perspective on that. When people ask me if I'm vegan, I always have to give my various disclaimers and talk about how I'm not part of the food wars. I don't want to join the vegan team or the paleo team. I want to be an independent, like I always say, it's kind of like the Republicans and Democrats. Don't mean to offend anybody, but it's like that, right? It's like the red team and the blue team, Coke or Pepsi, vegan or paleo, we have the paleo carnivore keto people over here. And then you have like the, whole food plant-based vegan people over here, and they hate each other and they talk smack to each other on the internet. And, I kind of don't want to be part of that. I want to be just sort of like independent in the middle. Certain things these guys get right, certain things these guys get right. I have to say, though, the vegans get way more stuff right than the paleo people. I just have to say. But the vegans online, they do screw certain things up horribly sometimes as well. And there are certain things that the paleo crowd really gets right. It's totally legit. So, but the paleo people are a little bit more often bat country than the vegans, in my experience. But again, like I said, the vegans do have some problematic areas in their thinking. I think it's great to be independent. I have personally, really deeply immersed myself in both. I worked for a natural grocery company for a while as a nutritionist for a couple of years, and they were very, very deep in the paleo belief system, the paleo religion. So it was all about high fat, low carb, lots of meat, lots of oil, fruit is bad, stuff like that. At the same time, I was also doing tons of research, nutritionfacts.org, Michael Greger, vegan stuff. I was going more vegan at the time. And so I've been immersed in really all of it. I've seen all of it. It's kind of like nutritionally speaking, I've been a Republican and a Democrat, you know what I mean? And so I've kind of seen it all. And it's given me a unique position where I can see how each side gets certain things right and certain things horribly wrong. You know what I mean? And speaking of things that are horribly wrong, what do you guys know about what I'm doing next Friday? And I'm sure some of you guys are already sick of this by now, but I have to plug it again, of course. It's a little something called The Dark Side of Keto. And it's going to be next Friday at 6 o'clock Central. So basically a week from right now, right? Because it's 6:04. So a week from exactly now, 6 o'clock Central, 90-minute super deep dive into the dark side of keto. Check out that link. Go give it a like and share with your friends. Set a reminder. If you can't see it live for the Q&A part, I recommend showing up so you can do Q&A toward the end. But if you can't see it live, then definitely watch it later. We have a fun little graphic with Darth Vader with a bunch of bacon behind him there. I will be basically talking about the dangers of keto for at least an hour and a half. I'll probably go for 2 hours, knowing me. Stay Human, my other presentation that some of you guys were here for, that was super awesome. Stay Human, where we went into the dark side of technology and transhumanism, artificial intelligence, the singularity, Kurzweil, all that crazy stuff. That one went for like 2 hours. That was awesome too. So definitely check out Stay Human if you can. But yeah, the dark side of keto, it's going to be very, very science-based. I'll have probably dozens of scientific references for you guys that I will publish alongside the video, so you can check out the references for yourself. Just FYI, keto can be a great way to lose weight for some people. If you get on it, you lose weight and you never get back on it again. It's not so bad, but a lot of people aren't doing that. And it is absolutely horrific for your health in the long term, I believe. And a lot of keto proponents just don't understand actual nutritional biochemistry at all. They just don't. And I hate to say something that makes me sound like, a know-it-all and, whatever, but I just got to say, man, what you're actually doing when you go on these trendy high-fat diets, you're actually disrupting your insulin system. You're actually making your blood sugar worse, but you don't know it's worse because you have no carbs coming into your system. But if you do keto for a year and then you just try to eat a normal amount of healthy carbohydrates like potatoes and apples and stuff like that, bananas, your blood sugar is going to spike inappropriately. Why is that? You've abolished your carbohydrate tolerance. You've flooded your cells with intramyocellular lipid, your muscle cells, which has disrupted the glucose transporter. And it's going to basically drive your blood sugar sky high with normal amounts of carbs. And there is massive scientific evidence to suggest this. So again, the proponents of keto do not understand the actual biochemistry. They just don't. So that's just a fact. You know what I mean? And if you mention this stuff, they're like, la, 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 I don't want to hear about it. That doesn't work with my, belief system. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to go into that. And, if you're offended by that, I apologize. If you lost weight on keto, that's great. Just get the hell off of keto as soon as you lose weight. That's all. You know what I mean? If you do it for a little bit to lose weight and you never go back on it again, that's not so bad. It really isn't the end of the world, but don't stay on that stuff. No bueno. I will say, though, if you're a male, you're probably going to do better. Women do much worse on keto. And most of the people promoting keto, 90% are dudes, and they don't realize how bad it is for women. Women's systems are really sensitive to that. So anyway, that's my plug for the dark side of keto. Danny B says, is Apex coming out this year? Danny, I sure as heck hope so. I'm shooting for Christmas for Apex 2.0. So yeah. But anyway, this guy is amazing. Apex is the ultimate. I am extremely, extremely excited to get it out. So definitely. And whenever we do it, we'll be doing an awesome promotion. So look for it right around Christmas. Hopefully we'll do a really cool Christmas promotion if it comes out in time. Yeah. All right. So let's see what else we got. Do I recommend Apex or NAC? Obviously I'm biased because I made Apex, so I recommend Apex, but you might want to stock up on NAC as well. I'd say maybe do them both, Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Seraphim, got my Shilajit a few days ago, feeling pretty good. Very cool. Seraphim, I remember you had some really cool input on the technology stuff. I think you said you used to be one of those transhumanist enthusiasts. And so yeah, Seraphim, I'd like to get your feedback on Stay Human and see what you thought of that. Yeehaw, yeah. All right. Bilberry, JJ. Yes, bilberry is another nutrient that's helpful for the microcirculation of the eyes. And of course, astaxanthin, zeaxanthin, lutein, all of those. Really cool thing about lutein, by the way, is that lutein is also it's also a nootropic. So lutein is not just for eye health. Your brain actually needs lutein. It's helpful for cognitive function. So it's cool, kind of like dual purpose. Same thing with DHA and EPA, your omega fatty acids. They're not just for eye health. They also are great for cognitive support and mood support, things like that. Yeah. Let's see here. What college did you go to? How can I enroll? So Skylar, to answer your question, I did my undergraduate degree in psychology and philosophy at the University of Houston. I did my master's in Chinese medicine, which is acupuncture, herbology, and physiology and nutrition. Nutrition less so, it's more independent study. I did that in Austin at AOMA, and then I did my doctorate in Chinese medicine at the Pacific College of Oriental Medicine in San Diego. Let's see. Talking about sun lotion, what was the ingredient you mentioned and how do you spell it? Chuck, so the good ingredient that you want is zinc oxide. Zinc oxide, when you're using it as a sunblock, is great. Zinc oxide, when you're using it as a zinc supplement, is crappy. So this is a little confusing, right? So if you're reading your sunscreen, right, and you're like, Oh, zinc oxide. That's a good thing if it's a sunscreen. If you're taking a zinc supplement and it says zinc oxide, that means it's a really crappy supplement and don't take it. So zinc oxide is not a bioavailable form of zinc as a nutrient. It is what's called an inorganic form, meaning that it's not attached to a carbon-containing molecule or an amino acid. Therefore, it's going to be not very bioavailable. I'm saying something that's a little confusing because zinc sulfate is technically not really an organic form, I don't believe, but it is actually bioavailable. So there are exceptions to that rule. But anyway, I'm getting off into geek town right now, and that's not even really all that helpful for you guys. But yeah, zinc oxide in a supplement, not good. In a sunscreen, it's great. And we're already at the 40-minute mark here. I'm kind of on fire. I didn't do a show yesterday, so we might go a little bit late today. That being said, though, I think it's time to give away our first prize here, which is going to be double because I didn't do a show yesterday. And so, yeah, let's give away prize number one. Prize number one is going to be double, like I said, which means 2 of any CHOQ product. And yeah, let's go ahead and knock that out. So as of now, you have exactly 1 minute. The timer has started. Give me one number between 1 and 100. You get one guess only. If you guess multiple times, it'll mess it up. So just guess one time. Bob Smith says you should debate Thomas DeLauer on keto. Sure, we can do that. Why not? What the heck? It'll be fun. We'll do a debate. Yeah. So anyway, so yes, the timer is running. Everybody get your answers in. If your answer comes in after the timer, then your answer will not count, unfortunately. That's just the rules. Them's the rules. I don't make them up. Actually, I do make up the rules. But those are the rules. You got 20 seconds left on the timer. And once again, this is for 2 of any CHOQ product. Any CHOQ product you like. Yes. So that is the deal. 10 seconds left on the clock. All right. Let's see. Is there anybody who's a straggler here? Okay, here we go. And done. All right. So if you came in after that, I do apologize, but that's the deal. The number was 87. Let's see who's closest to 87. CHOQWE has 85. That might be our winner. Gall darn. Oh, 86, Sabir. Ooh. Sabir, I think you might be our winner. Let's see. We don't have anybody. Yep. Sabir, you are the winner. You sure are. Great job, Sabir. Very cool. So, Sabir, here's what you want to do. You want to email CHOQ@CHOQ.com, and you want to pick out 2 of any supplement from the CHOQ website. So just go to, wait, I'm sorry. Did BC? No, hold on. BC says it gets 88. Let me see here. One second. Let me double check. BC, I don't have anything from you. Let's see here. Looking for your entry. Yeah, BC, I have nothing. I have nothing from you in the chat. It didn't come through. I've scanned it several times, so I am sorry about that. I'm not in control of YouTube, but unfortunately, your communication never came. Yeah. So I am sorry about that, but unfortunately, I have to just go based off of what I see. So yes, Sabir, you are the winner, but better luck next time, BC. I'm sorry if that was a technical issue, but again, just got to go based off of what I see here on my screen, and I have no entries from you. Scanned it several times just to double check. But yes, so yeah. So yes, Sabir, you are the winner. So email CHOQ@CHOQ.com. And then pick out 2 products from the CHOQ website and say, hey guys, I am going to, I'd like these 2 products. And in fact, I'm going to get on with customer service right now and just let them know that we're doing double prizes tonight, just so they know. But yes, congratulations. Everybody give Sabir a nice round of applause. Sabir, is this your first time on the show? If so, I bet you'll be a regular after this, after winning over $100 worth of stuff. We're doing double prizes tonight again, since I didn't do a show yesterday. All right, cool. So yeah, Congratulations. And prize number 2 will be coming up in just a bit. Prize number 2 today will be the double version somewhat, which will be a CHOQ t-shirt, organic, made in the USA, cotton, 100% cotton, nothing synthetic t-shirt, high quality premium shirt, a bag of organic heirloom cacao beans, and also one of any CHOQ product with a total value of potentially $200. So yeah, we've got potentially a $200 worth of product making its way to you in just a bit here. We're doing a little bit longer show. I'm kind of on fire today. I'm having a good day. Didn't do a show yesterday. So yeah, maybe this one will be like an hour. We'll see. Let's see what other questions we got here though. You guys are asking some really cool questions today. I'm digging it. Yeah, I like it. What else we got? All right. Danny B, congratulations. That's awesome. You're on all 8 CHOQ products. That is fantastic. Danny B, you said you feel amazing. Tell us more about how amazing you feel on all 8 CHOQ products. JJ says, thoughts on distilled water. There are different theories about distilled water. There are some people who claim that because it has no minerals in it, it leaches minerals from your body. I have no idea if that's actually true. I've never seen any evidence of that, but I haven't seen any evidence to the contrary either. What I do have to say is that you don't really need to get minerals from water. You need to get minerals from food, from plants, especially. Obviously, you can get minerals from meat as well. But yeah, plants. You want to get minerals, from lots of plants. Lots and lots of fruits and vegetables and legumes and nuts, et cetera, et cetera. That's where you get minerals from mostly. Anyway, so yeah, you don't need to get minerals from water. And the form of minerals that are in water are not always the most absorbable. They're not going to be, your body likes minerals that are actually attached to amino acids better than it likes minerals in a more what's called inorganic form. So, minerals from water is not the best way to get it. It's a way, but it's not the best way. So distilled water, probably not that big of a deal, but I can't say that with 100% confidence. Sabir says, how do you gain muscle without protein? So Sabir, there's a myth that you need tons and tons and tons of protein to build muscle. And a part of that myth is also that protein has to come from animal tissue. That's complete garbage information. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, the king of monster giant muscular dudes, right? Who's not only was Mr. Universe or whatever, but also is just like this massive, symbol of everything manly and, strong, right? He basically came out and said he's pretty much vegan now. There was this documentary called Game Changers on Netflix, a vegan documentary. Check it out. You don't need animal tissue to build to build muscle. Of course, you do need protein, but the amounts that we think we need are ridiculous. In order to build muscle, you also need a lot of carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is essential for building muscle. Insulin, which is released when you take in carbohydrates to get the sugars into the cell where it can be converted to ATP. Insulin is not just for that purpose, and this is one of the things I'm going to go over in our special next week on the dark side of keto. Is that you need insulin to build muscle. Insulin is one of the most, maybe the single most anabolic hormone in your body. Insulin leads to muscle growth, right? So when I was vegan for almost 2 years, and I didn't care remotely about how much protein I had, and I was probably the most muscular I've ever been. Not caring about protein, not eating any animal protein, plenty of muscle. I was super strong, and I wasn't even working out that much, I didn't lose any muscle on a low protein vegan diet at all. So just FYI, the protein thing, we've been brainwashed as a country to think that we need huge amounts of protein, huge amounts of meat. And that goes back to a bunch of BS marketing from the 40s, actually. And we'll talk a little bit about that next Friday at 6 o'clock Central when we do our Dark Side of Keto presentation, which I'm sure is going to ruffle some feathers. I'm sure there's going to be some keto pundits out there that will hate me after this. But hey, you know what? Sometimes it's good to court controversy, right? It's good from a marketing standpoint, just more attention or whatever, And I try not to stir the pot all the time, but once in a while I got to do it. I do feel strongly that keto is pretty messed up, and especially for the ladies doing it. If you're a lady, you really don't need to be messing with keto. It's horrible for women, absolutely horrible. In my experience, obviously not my direct experience, but as a clinician talking to women who've been on it, most of them it does not agree with very well. All right, let's see. Somebody's asking about protection against UV. Okay, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, if you're using a super toxic sunscreen, it kind of defeats the whole purpose, putting something toxic on your skin, trying to protect it, right? So, be real careful what kind of sunscreens you use. Zinc oxide only, none of this other oxybenzone. Is that the right name of that molecule? Oxybenzone? I think that's right. Let's see. Oxybenzone. Yeah. Nasty, nasty stuff. Yeah. So here's just a random link that I found on Google. Can't vouch for it, but there we go. All right. And sunlight is very important. And obviously, overexposure to the sun can damage your skin, can be bad. Of course, you want to be careful. You want to be aware of your skin type. I'm a more olive complexion. I have darker skin tone, so I do pretty well. But if you're like really fair skin, you want to be careful, obviously. How can I get in the giveaway? Hugo says. So Hugo, the way that it works is twice every episode, and we do these typically Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'll skip days like yesterday. But typically what happens is randomly throughout the episode, usually toward the end, but sometimes like the other day I did it at the very beginning of the show, twice we'll have a random number generator, and whoever guesses closest will win either prize number 1 or prize number 2. And prize number 1 is usually one CHOQ product. Prize number 2 is usually a CHOQ t-shirt and some cacao beans. Today we're doing double prizes though, because I did not have a show yesterday. And yeah, I was a little bit off yesterday. I had some stomach troubles. I have a very sensitive digestive system. I might have gotten some gluten. I don't know what happened, but long story short though, I was feeling a little off. So I didn't do, I caught up on other work, but didn't do a show yesterday. Yeah. All right. What else we got here? Any other cool questions? You guys are asking some great ones today. Somebody says, Danny B says, I eat meat 2 to 3 times a day, mostly grass-fed beef, heart, and ground beef. Cool. All right. Yeah. Hey, that's working for you, Like they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, But I will say, Danny B, from a cardiovascular standpoint, you're putting yourself in a very high-risk category by eating tons and tons of beef, and I would be a little careful with that. Also, if you're doing the whole carnivore thing, and I know obviously there's some benefits to carnivore. Clearly, if there weren't benefits, people wouldn't be doing it. But make sure you're at least supplementing with some Gallder and vitamin C. You're not getting hardly any vitamin C in meat. And you can eventually actually get real life, full-blown scurvy if you do that for long enough. That's real, So just FYI, one of the reasons it's obvious that humans are not carnivores is because we can't produce vitamin C. Little fun fact for you guys, something we'll also talk about next week on Dark Side of Keto. A lot of other animals can generate their own vitamin C. Very, very handy, right? Because vitamin C obviously is essential for not just the immune system, but all sorts of other cool stuff, collagen formation, antioxidant recycler, feeds into the glutathione system, etc. So basically, humans lost that enzymatic pathway. Vitamin C is actually derived from glucose. And clearly we have tons of glucose in our body, right? So basically, a lot of other animals, like your dog, right? A lot of animals, especially carnivores, can actually generate their own vitamin C. So for them, it's not a vitamin. Part of the definition of a vitamin is that your body can't make it. It's not a vitamin if your body can make it, which is exactly why vitamin D is not a vitamin. It's completely wrong. I don't know how mind-blowing this guy is for you guys. If you're one of my regulars, you probably already know. But vitamin D, to call vitamin D a vitamin is absolutely wrong. It does not meet the criteria of a vitamin whatsoever because it's produced endogenously. Your body synthesizes its own vitamin D, which means that it's not a vitamin. It's actually a steroid hormone, technically called a corticosteroid. So I could blow y'all's minds on how vitamin D actually works and what it really is, and it's not what you think it is at all. It's radically different. It's a steroid hormone that regulates like half of your genome, basically. And it's not a vitamin. And you can make it without sunlight. Sunlight helps, but you can still make some without sunlight. All right. What else we got here? Sprouted foods, chickpeas, black beans, Danny B. Sprouted foods are amazing. They're fantastic. Sprouted foods are just great. More the merrier. Beans are acidic, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see here. Well, like literally, all protein is acidic, right? So just FYI, proteins are made of amino acids, right? So, you can't be too afraid of acidic things because, all amino acids are acids. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But I will say, actually, if you were to compare the total pH of something like a bean to the total pH of meat, I can't say 100%, but I'd say probably beans would be more alkaline because of some of the alkalizing, the alkaline qualities of the minerals in there, I want to say, right? Because fat is also acidic, fatty acid, right? So yeah. Thoughts on drinking alkaline water all day? Alkaline water is okay. It's kind of a little bit hyped up. Yeah. And Danny B says dark side of keto with a flame next to it. So Danny, are you stoked about this? Are you freaked out about keto yet? Am I freaking you out? Are you guys scared of keto yet? If you have any friends who are on keto, maybe let them know we're doing this next week. And if you have anybody who wants to come heckle me, invite them in. Tell them they can heckle me. If they heckle me too hard, I'll kick them out. But if they want to come in and ask some tough questions, I'm down, man. Bring it on. Let's see what else we got here. Swimming with sharks. I don't know what that's about, JJ, but that's an interesting comment. Books for traditional Chinese medicine, Lucas. Yes. So there's two different main books for lay people, for people who don't have training in Chinese medicine. One is called, Danny, The Web That Has No Weaver. I'm sorry, Lucas. One is called The Web That Has No Weaver. Once again, that's The Web That Has No Weaver. The other one is called Between Heaven and Earth. Between Heaven and Earth. They're both really good. I've read more of the Between Heaven and Earth one than the other one. But either of those are the two greatest primers if you want to learn a bunch about Chinese medicine. Pretty detailed information, actually, as a non-practitioner. Yeah. All right. Chuck says, peace out later on, Chuck. Take it easy. Hope you have a good one. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What are your thoughts on grass-fed collagen? Danny, be careful with collagen. Make sure, if I were doing collagen, which I don't, if I were though, I would do only organic collagen, organic grass-fed collagen, because you can potentially get hyperaccumulation of pesticides in the collagen. And again, just, be totally honest, I'm not 100% on the science behind that, but there is a mechanism that I talked about earlier, the whole glyphosate glycine substitution hypothesis from Dr. Stephanie Seneff. So be really careful with collagen. Also, speaking of collagen, though, I will say we do have actual clinical research showing that Shilajit, you don't have to take collagen to increase collagen in your body. The Shilajit that we use has clinical research on it. Sorry, I don't know why this dang focus is not working properly. We actually do have, though, as you can see on our website, we talk about it, that it upregulates collagen synthesis. Shilajit actually switches on collagen-producing genes. So very, very cool. And again, we have the only clinically researched Shilajit out there. The one that we use, the ingredient we use is the only one out there that's clinically researched. So yeah, just FYI. All right, so what else we got here? Do we recommend for acne? Unfortunately, acne is a disease, and I can't talk about disease treatment legally. So, Deani, I'm not allowed to answer that by law, unfortunately. Best vitamin or fruit, vegetables stimulate hair growth and hair health. Muhammad, for hair, skin, nail stuff, some of the most common ones you'll find out there are like biotin is one. Anything with silica in it. Look for good silica products. Silica is a really interesting mineral that's really helpful for hair. There's also an herb called Foti, F-O-T-I. It's a Chinese herb. It's also called He Shou Wu, but it's more commonly referred to in a lot of Western supplements as Foti. It's a Chinese medicine herb. We use it for as like a general, we call kidney tonic. It's helpful for energy, helpful for liver, and it is helpful for hair growth. Especially though for preventing graying of hair is how it's used. We don't have any of our CHOQ products, but that's how people tend to use it for graying. But it is a cool herb. It does switch on antioxidant production, switches on production of certain key antioxidants like catalase and superoxide dismutase to my recollection. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up on all the comments here. Jimmy Jack says fake news. Not sure what you're referring to on that one, but that's funny. All right. What else we got here? Trying to get caught up on the comments. We got a lot here that I came before. All right. Somebody's talking about testosterone support. All right. So Hugo, you want to, officially speaking, you want to stick to the recommended doses. That's kind of what I have to tell you by law. Stick to the recommended doses on all the products. So whatever it says in the bottle, that's what you got to take, man. We can't recommend you take any more than what's listed on there legally. So very important for me to say that. Yeah. So if you're exceeding the recommended dose in the bottle, that is not our official recommendation. Just got to be real legal on that one. Let's see. Mom, 3 month supply of 7 Wonders. Very cool. Hunter says your mom wants to take the 90-day CHOQ challenge. Very cool. Yeah. Invest for 3 months. Do a nice protocol. Do a few products. Pick the ones that support the areas you're looking to support. Give it a fair shake. Give it 90 days. That's with these adaptogenic herbs, that's really what it takes. You got to give it a nice little fair shake. And that 90 days is a great down payment for some of this stuff. Yeah. And let's see here. Ashwagandha helped me. That's awesome. Laura wants to know if I drink oat milk. I don't personally drink any of the nut milks. I'm not against them, but a lot of them have a lot of processed junk in them, but I think oat milk's delicious, There are certain problematic mycotoxins in oats. Ochra toxin, OCHRATOXIN. And actually, you know what? Since you're asking about oats, let me just tell you right now, ochra toxin, oats, nutrition facts. There's a cool nonprofit. I feel good endorsing them because they're not actually selling products. They're a nonprofit. They're called nutritionfacts.org. Check this video out by them. That's pretty awesome. They're talking about ochra toxin. Ultimately, they think that it's probably not that big of a deal, but there's a bunch of research on ochra toxin, which is a toxin that comes from certain kinds of fungi, certain kinds of mold that tend to grow on oats. So, if you're worried about mold and stuff, you might want to do some research, especially if you drink a lot of oats, oat milk, eat a lot of oats, stuff like that. Danny says, I did keto for 4 months and it effed me up, still dealing with shoulder and back inflammation. Sorry to hear that, Danny. And, those stories are really common, really common. Yeah. Cool. Mark got the NAC. Cool. All right, let's see here. Seraphim, you're taking the Shilajit. Very cool. Do I like kombucha? Kombucha is okay. If you're looking for kombucha to be your chief source of probiotics, it's a really inefficient, expensive way to do it because these kombuchas, it's a nice, fun beverage, but, they're like, what, $4, sometimes $5, ridiculously expensive, and you're not going to get the same potency of probiotics from a kombucha really hardly ever compared to some of these legit probiotic products. So put it this way, $4 a day times 30, that's $120 a month. If you spend $120 a month on a probiotic, you're going to get the Rolls Royce of probiotics, and it's going to be like 10 times the potency of that kombucha. So if you're looking at it as a way of getting probiotics in your system, it's a grossly inefficient way to do it. If you're looking at a fun, tasty beverage that has some probiotics added to it that are fairly weak, sure, what the heck, But also kombucha, of course, has black tea in it. Some people are sensitive to caffeine. Caffeine can treat some people really badly. So you've got to be careful, Kombucha is not as healthy as we think it is. It really isn't. But, compared to a lot of other stuff you could be drinking, if you're like, should I drink kombucha or Bud Light? Obviously, kombucha all day long, right? So it's a relative thing. Sergio says, what is the extraction process for NAC? Sergio, on a technical level, just to let you know, NAC is not extracted, it's synthesized. So NAC is an isolated molecule that is synthesized. It's not extracted. All right. Oh, Jimmy Jack says BC saying 88 was fake news. No, we all believe BC. We don't think you're lying. I'm sure it was just a technical malfunction. I'm sure it wasn't a deception. Obviously, we know BC's legit. Thoughts on oregano oil? Oregano oil is awesome stuff. It's fantastic. It's not the gentlest for immune support herbs at all. It's one of the nastiest on the digestive system. So if you have a sensitive digestive tract, be careful with oregano oil. You can get die-off reactions. You get all sorts of GI inflammation from oregano. Some people, when they need extra immune support, will just start megadosing on oregano. That's not what you want to do at all. You want to use a normal amount of oregano, and then you want to maybe combine it with some other stuff, right? So it's not just like a megadose of this one really intense thing. Megadosing on oregano, I do not recommend at all. You can actually mess up your gut on oregano if you have GI problems. Not that it's hurting in the long run per se, but you can get weird Herxheimer type reactions, temporary gut inflammation, not good from the oregano. All right, let's see what else we got. Mark says, thank you much for all your help. You're very welcome. Danny, Dr. Matt, do you know Dr. Emoto Masaru? Yes, absolutely. Dr. Emoto is awesome. I'm very familiar with his work. Yeah, for sure. Where you basically can use different kinds of intentions to change the crystalline structure of water. And I will say also, scientifically, that study came under some scrutiny because obviously a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm a hard-nosed scientist. I don't believe in this hippie crap," you know. And so Dr. Emoto, actually, there's another guy named Dean Radin, PhD, and he works with IONS, the Institute of Noetic Science. And he actually repeated Dr. Emoto's research and found the same results. So that research has been replicated. And just so y'all know, in the science world, replication is kind of a big deal, right? Because I don't know if you guys have ever heard, let me just get really nerdy here for a second. Check this out, replication crisis. If you guys want to know how broken science actually is, check this out. And I hate to link to Wikipedia because they're highly problematic for some reason, for certain reasons, but they are a good source of information on certain topics. There's a Wikipedia article on the replication crisis. And let me just use this as a way to kind of leading into some interesting stuff here. So there's a bunch of huge studies that were massively influential in all different kinds of science where nobody ever replicated them. So the study was just done one time. Everybody was like, yep, it's a great study, let's buy it. And then in some cases, a long time after, somebody tried to replicate them and couldn't. And we drew major conclusions. I don't have any examples off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've studied up on this, but replication crisis, if you want to be scientifically literate and you want to know the current state of affairs, very important to know that. But yes, the Dr. Emoto research on water was replicated by Dean Radin's group at IONS. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thinks I'm crazy when I tell you can bless. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like there's some really mind-blowing stuff out there regarding the effects of intention, consciousness, things like that on matter. And just because it doesn't fit into somebody's tiny little materialistic paradigm, their hyper-limited worldview, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not true. But we got a lot of folks who, want to put the world into a tiny little box, a quaint, tiny little box, not realizing that 1,000 years from now, humans are going to know so much stuff that makes our current scientific knowledge look pathetic and medieval by comparison. That's guaranteed. Here's a fun thought experiment for you guys. I've taught some classes before, and I like to start some of my classes that I used to teach with this thought experiment. Imagine that you go back in time 200 years ago, right? Actually, no, let's make it more extreme. 500 years ago, right? You go back in time 500 years. So it's the year 1521, right? And you talk to all the top scientists and doctors out there, maybe you're in Europe, right? The most sophisticated, supposedly, right? Of course, European Westerners think they're all the best, right? But anyway, most sophisticated thinkers, most sophisticated scientists, philosophers, doctors of the time. 500 years ago, a lot of what they say is going to sound pretty sad. It's going to sound pretty medieval and pretty ridiculous. They're going to tell you a bunch of stuff that's just made up garbage that we know is wrong now. Now, imagine you're coming from 500 years in the future, 2521, back to now, and you do the same thing. So you're coming from the year 2500, you're talking to somebody in the year 2021, right? 2521 to 2021, 500 years in the past. That same thing's going to happen. That person from the year 2521 is going to be like talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson and all these like top figures who are like the archbishops of the gods of science, of the religion of science, right? They think they know everything. And most of the stuff they say is garbage by 2500 standards. Total garbage, medieval trash. It's literally how the stuff works. And so a lot of people who are on the cutting edge, who are way ahead of their time, they get talked a lot of smack by other powers that be because their minds are just simple and small. That's just a fact, Now, of course, there's a lot of probably like total bunk stuff out there that does have no scientific basis and might not be true. And you got to be careful. You got to use discernment. It's really important for people who are, let me just get up on my soapbox, important for people who are spiritual, who are mystical, who believe in consciousness, right? Who meditate, who do cool stuff like yoga and, shamanic dancing and just weird stuff like that, like a lot of our crowd, it's important for you guys to know science, to understand the scientific method as best you can, even if you don't have formal training in it. Because a lot of people in our world, right, we get seen as like we're just a bunch of stupid hippies who don't know anything about science, right? And it's really easy when we talk about the power of intention, Dr. Emoto's work, things like that, right? Like, it's really easy for really hard-nosed scientists, materialist types, just write us off as being just a bunch of crazy, stupid hippies, like on a bunch of drugs. And you know what I mean? Just the stereotype, right? Just some dumb hippie, you know, in the woods, like playing guitar, right? And, but if you actually understand science, if you're a good scientific philosopher, you understand the scientific method, if you can actually think through how to design a study properly, and you get real geeky about this, like I am, you start to identify the limitations of what we currently know. And I'm very lucky because I have not only the training, but also the wherewithal to look into all these areas that I don't have training in within science. And I actually know where the cutting edge is in a lot of these areas. And most people don't know where the cutting edge is. And if you know where the cutting edge is, you know what we don't know yet. A lot of stuff we don't know yet. A lot. I'm going to have to do a whole special on genetics sometime for you guys. There's huge mysteries in genes. And the thing is that if you talk to the powers that be, they think we got it all figured out. And we don't. We sure as heck don't. There's so much stuff with genes, guys, that's like insanely counterintuitive and confusing, right? So when we first were sequencing the human genome, right, we started with some very simple organisms, right, like a fruit fly, like an onion, stuff like that. And they were like, oh, this one's got, let's say, 20,000 genes, right? So we're like, well, a human's so much more complex that we must have hundreds of thousands of genes. No, we got like, what, 30-something thousand? Don't quote me on that. How many human genes? Is it 30? You guys correct me if I'm wrong. How many genes do humans have? Is it 30-something thousand? 20,500 approximately. Right? Is that right? Oh, but then actually there's some dissenting reports on that. Anyway, so not that many, right? So where's all the data? If we're so complex, where's the data coming from? Well, guess what? Here's some really trippy stuff for you guys. This is going to blow your mind. DNA, according to one experiment, DNA, it's called, so this is called the DNA phantom effect. Now we're getting off into real interesting territory, really esoteric stuff here. There's an experiment a while back where they used something called a laser photon correlation spectrometer. Let me see if I can find a link to you guys to give you guys here on this, the DNA phantom effect. Now, who knows? Maybe this is all a hoax. Maybe it's totally made up. I don't know. I'm gonna give you guys a link though. This is gonna blow your mind. Click on this link and check it out later on when you have time. So they use this machine, and long story short, you could put a DNA sample in like a suspended in like a solution or something, and you can shine a laser through it, right? And then there's a plate over here, and the plate picks up the laser, and the laser will interfere with this tissue sample in different ways. It'll pick up a pattern on the plate, and it can tell you different things about the tissue sample, right? And they got this weird effect that happened with the DNA samples in there, where when they took the sample out and there was no matter in there, it was just a perfect vacuum, they were getting some different baseline reading that wasn't the blank reading that they got before. And they were like, man, maybe our machine's broken. We don't know. And this is how the story goes. Hopefully it's true. This is how the story goes. They eventually figured out that you can continue to measure some sort of residue using laser light. And it's not a matter thing because it's a vacuum chamber, right? There's an actual residue that DNA leaves behind. And DNA has a special property because they couldn't do this with anything else. They couldn't do it with like metal or a marble or just random objects. The object had to have DNA in it to produce this DNA phantom effect. DNA has a special property where it actually interacts with the space-time substructure of reality. And what's actually happening is the reason I think that we don't actually have, we can't account for all of the information in the human body within the simplicity of the human genome with the 20-something thousand genes is because what's actually happening is some of the information is literally the DNA is acting as an interdimensional antenna. Yeah, let that sink in. DNA is acting as an interdimensional antenna. It's picking up on information from another realm that physics is barely able to even contemplate right now. The vacuum substructure is one term for it. And coherent light, laser light, can to some extent actually penetrate into this realm. And that's what that machine was picking up on. So that's that, right? So yeah, huge mysteries in genes. We still have not to this day even mapped out which gene corresponds to which body part. That work is still being done. And there's a Rupert Sheldrake, the biologist, actually has a bet with another famous biologist that they're never going to figure it out. And it's a giant embarrassment to genetics. So just within the field of genetics, there's huge mysteries. How epigenetics works, the activation of genes, switching them on and off, huge mysteries there. How in the hell is it that you can have a thought and that thought can activate genes? Thoughts can literally make you sick. It's something that hippie type people say, right? People who are into stuff that we're into, consciousness, all that, right? And thoughts can make you sick. Thoughts can heal you and thoughts can kill you. Obviously, physical things can make you sick too, toxins and viruses, right? It's not one of those things where it's only thoughts can make you sick. That's a garbage, stupid thing. But thoughts can make you sick. Thoughts and emotions switch genes on and off, right? And your genes control everything. And we still don't know how the hell that's possible. We're still figuring that out. Epigenetics is in its infancy. And yeah, Bruce Lipton, somebody mentioned Biology Belief. He's made great contributions in that area. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. Idiocracy, Seraphim. Yeah, that's really funny. In the year 2521, Brondo owns the U.S. government. Yeah. It's like, do you guys even know what electrolytes are? They're what plants crave. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Idiocracy, it's fantastic. It's amazing. Definitely check that movie out. You're on point, Seraphim. That movie is hilarious. Mike Judge is a genius. In fact, actually, Mike Judge used to come into the Whole Foods I worked at. Unfortunately, that was before my time, but my boss at the time when I worked at Whole Foods downtown in Austin at the world headquarters, apparently Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill and that movie, he was actually a regular. He used to come get sliced meat at Whole Foods all the time. All right. I don't know. Let's see. I was told by my coworker the clinical study on shilajit and fertility wasn't credible enough because it includes 60 people. Sergio, 60 people is quite a few. Perhaps you should ask your coworker about the p-value because, p-value takes into account the sample size, right? But it doesn't just take that into account. There's other factors that go off of p-value, and anything under a p-value of 0.5 is the standard within research. So as long as they did their statistics right and they did the right calculations, if it's a p-value of under 0.05, then it's considered a significant effect. But Sergio, if you'd like to, I don't know what study you're talking about, but Sergio, if you have the exact study and you want to send it to CHOQ@CHOQ.com, you can just say, hey, Dr. Matt says I'd like to check out this study, and I'm sending this to him. Could you relay that to him? Obviously, I'd give you my personal email, but I don't give that out because that would not be good, right? So, but yeah, if you want to send that study in, I'm happy to review it and see if it seems legit or not. All right. Have I heard about different frequencies affecting bodies? Absolutely, 100%. We are beings of frequency. Yeah. Thoughts on occasionally smoking organic weed? Well, Danny, I have to say, so if cannabis is illegal where you're at, then I recommend not breaking the law, right? You just have to be really official here. But if it happens to be legal, either as a patient or recreationally, as far as cannabis is concerned, I think that from a health standpoint, just as a practitioner, I would say that it's better not to smoke anything because smoke is always bad for your lungs. It's better to probably eat or vaporize. Vaporizing is much easier on the lungs. So that's going to be a healthier alternative. Obviously, eating is a good way to go to, ingesting right there. And from a physical toxicity standpoint, cannabis is not very toxic at all. It's quite non-toxic overall, but it can be psychotoxic. I've definitely seen some folks who just smoke all day, every day, and it has pretty negative effects on their personality. It can make you paranoid after a while. Not as bad for your body as, say, alcohol, obviously, which is much rougher on the body, but cannabis can be psychotoxic. That's a completely different thing from physically toxic, psychotoxic. And that's an important thing for you to be in y'all's lexicon here, to teach you a little terminology here. Psychotoxic. Certain practices can be psychotoxic. Doing too much Kundalini yoga can be absolutely psychotoxic. Kundalini yoga, great, awesome, powerful practice, very ungrounding, really bad for certain people who have certain constitutions where they're already really airy and ungrounded. The worst thing for certain people. So, even certain meditation practices can have contraindications and can be psychotoxic. So, but anyway, cannabis is a very, very powerful plant. Anyone who's ever, accidentally overdosed on edibles knows that you got to be real careful with cannabis. It'll get on top of you. So it's definitely a plant to be respected for sure. And it does have some downsides, even though it's physically not all that toxic. But it is a medicine, and not every medicine is meant to be done all the time. But yeah, if it's more occasional, and especially if you're not smoking it, then probably not the worst thing in the world, as long as it's legal. Quick disclaimer for our lawyer: make sure that it's legal wherever you're doing it. Do not break the law. Not endorsing anyone break the law. You guys like how lawyerly I have to get on these things? It's fun, right? Yeehaw! I just don't want CHOQ to get in trouble, Got to keep it real. Let's see. Mysterious Universe podcast mentioned the same phenomenon. Split personality showed different blood exams. Wow, that's phenomenal. So somebody who had a split personality, they were in different personalities and they had different blood exams. That is fascinating. And Jimmy Jack, one way we might be able to explain that is that certain molecules in the blood that are measured, and I don't know what. I would be interested, Jimmy Jack, do you know on a technical level what kinds of blood work they were giving? Was it a CBC or a CMP? Do you know what it was? I'd be fascinated to know, because gene expression can change all sorts of stuff. And so it's possible that person's different personalities were actually leading to different gene expression. And what I would love to see is that you can actually measure gene expression using something called a DNA microarray. DNA microarray, right? Very, very cool. And this device just measures. So, for example, the Shilajit study that we have on this Shilajit, right? The company who produces it did this study. They used a DNA microarray to actually see when the collagen synthesizing genes were upregulated, right? Where they turned on more, where they switched on more, how often were they activated, right? To what extent were they activated? How activated were they, right? You can use a DNA microarray to measure gene expression. You get a snapshot at a certain time to see whether or not a gene was active, how active that gene was, relatively speaking. And I would love to see if there's research on people who have multiple personalities, potentially where maybe in one personality you're getting different gene expression than in another personality. That would be fascinating. But yeah, just in terms of a theoretical, scientifically, valid way of explaining what you're talking about, you could make an argument that maybe the personalities were switching on different genes and that downstream there were different hormones being synthesized based on that. That would make complete sense scientifically. And it's not even a mystical thing. It's just hard science, But there could be other weird, mystical, metaphysical stuff going on too. Who knows? I'm not going to discount that. You guys know I keep it weird too, right? So I try to have a good balance between hard science and getting real weird. Man, this is the longest show I've ever done. This is pretty cool, guys. And we still got 18 people in here. You guys are hanging on. So, but it's just got super interesting. And I feel like we didn't do a show yesterday. So going long today, this is cool. But yeah, by far the longest episode of Live with the CHOQTOR that I've ever done, or Ask the CHOQTOR rather. These interactive shows are awesome, says Jimmy Jack. Very cool. I'm glad you're digging it. And Seraphim, let's see. My religion does not allow me to do yoga beyond a few of the stretches. Cool. Yeah, whatever works for you, Danny B, loving these video lives. Dr. Matt, I learned a lot from you. Much respect. For sure, Danny, absolutely. And guys, I just got to say, tell your friends about these. I'd like to build momentum. I'd like to have 50, 60, 100 people on these. This is so fascinating. The more people who are on here, the better the questions are, because we have more questions. There's not as many lulls. Let's keep this momentum going. Tell your friends that they can win prizes. They can learn cool stuff. They can ask me whatever they want. Not whatever they want. I can't talk about disease and I can't talk about the V word, right? And I can't talk about the C word that rhymes with Provid. Certain things I can't talk about, but I can talk about a lot of stuff. Tell your friends about this. We're doing it Monday through Friday. I'm doing it for usually 45 minutes. Maybe once a week we'll do a long show like this or something if I've got time, keep it a little bit more real. That could be fun, And yeah, giving away prizes all the time. So tell your friends about this. Please make sure you always hit the like button on all the CHOQ videos. It helps us tremendously. Leave tons of comments in the comment section on these videos. Hit the subscribe button, hit the alert button so it tells you when we're live, all that stuff. It helps us a lot to build the channel. And I'd love to see in another year, I'd love to see 10,000 subscribers for the CHOQ YouTube channel, right? We've got 1,500 almost. We got 1,400 or something right now, which is pretty awesome because it's only a few months old. So not too bad. I'd love to see 10,000, maybe 100,000 people subscribing to our CHOQ channel one day. I think that would be fantastic. And I really do think that we can make it to that. I love doing these videos with you guys, and plus you guys are just into really cool stuff like I am, you're into weird metaphysical fun stuff, meditation. You guys are into herbs. You guys are into talking about crazy stuff like this DNA phantom effect, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah. And Sam, yes, biology belief, Dr. Lipton, Bruce Lipton's fantastic. Yeah. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate that. Yeah. 18 to 20 people's interest. Right now we got 22. We've been averaging 20 or so for a little while. And yeah, I like to have these, if it was dwindling down to 3 people, I'd probably cut it off. But we got 22 people in here right now. You guys are asking questions. I don't have anywhere I have to be right now. So I'm just having fun. So keep it going for a little bit more here. Do you ever listen to podcasts? Forbidden Knowledge News is mind-blowing. Yeah, Laura, I do listen to podcasts. I don't listen to that particular one, though. That sounds awesome. Yeah. All right. So Danny B, unfortunately, because of the way you phrased that question, I'm actually not allowed to answer that legally. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see here. Tristan Haggard sent me here. Cool. Don't know who that is. That's awesome, but welcome, Chase. Anybody else who's new, welcome. We do these Monday through Friday. We give away well over $1,000 of product potentially every week. So we're giving away $4,000 or $5,000 of the product a month on these shows. And every show we have prize number 1, which is one of any CHOQ products, which some of our products cost over $100. So prize number 1 potentially is worth over $100. And then prize number 2 is one of our premium organic shirts, which is like a $50 or $60, something like that shirt, plus a nice big fat 1-pound bag of not just organic, but organic, genetically verified heirloom cacao beans from Bolivia. And how often, because of course CHOQ takes it to that next level, how often when you're buying cacao beans, are you buying from somebody's like, yeah, not only is it from a small farm in Bolivia that's organic, we actually had these scientifically verified to be 97.3% genetically heirloom. That's next level. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with cacao, you're like, that cacao is pretty cool. Has it been run through a genetic sequencer to make sure it's actually heirloom? Yes, it has. Because that's how we roll at CHOQ. Best of science to get the best of nature. Let's see here. Do Aztec butterflies. I don't know about Aztec butterflies, JJ, but that sounds interesting. Tell me more about that. Lucas says, awesome show today. Thank you very much, Lucas. Appreciate you being here. Hope to see you all back on a regular basis. And I love how many regulars we have here. Laura, Hunter, Chalky Wee, Jimmy Jack. Let's see who else is a regular here. Mr. R, obviously. Seraphim, Danny. Who else is a regular who's here right now? Sam Canarea. So many awesome regulars. It's really cool to see you guys here on a regular basis and just to see the same faces coming. Not faces. A lot of y'all, I can't see your faces, but to see the same people coming. I love it. And it's just really cool to have, regulars here. Skylar Chambers says you're a legend. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. Let's see. Dr. Matt, can I send my 100 bottles of CHOQ back to CHOQ so it can be reused or something? Hugo, we don't have anything in place for that right now. But Hugo, if you want to email CHOQ@CHOQ.com, you can put in a request for that. And the more demand we have for stuff like that, then might look into it. But unfortunately, we can't actually reuse bottles. That's impossible. That's not legal. So we can't refill a bottle that was already in your hands. That would be completely against GMP regulations. So we will never do that, unfortunately. As much as it would be great to be able to reuse bottles. At the same time, also, you have to think about just the shipping there and is it even worth it, But as far as, I'll just give you guys a little hint. I can't tell you what we're working on, but let's just say that we have some big plans to take our packaging game to the next level with respect to efficiency, sustainability, things like that, right? And right now we are actually working on compostable packaging for our cacao beans. So you literally, not only are you getting organic heirloom cacao beans, but you're getting them in the package that's so non-toxic, you can literally just throw it in your garden and compost the package. So we are working on that right now. And sometime, I don't know, it might take us a while, but at some point in the future, we're going to have compostable packages for the cacao beans. So I think that's pretty awesome. And I'd love to work on more natural, sustainable, eco-friendly packaging for our bottles as well. So that's hard to do with bottles, but if we can do it, we will. We absolutely will, because CHOQ, we don't just optimize what's in the capsules and what's in our products. We want to optimize the packaging too, not just to look awesome, but to be as functional and non-toxic as possible. So that's in the works. We have huge plans. CHOQ's only a 2-year company. We've grown massively in 2 years because people just love our stuff and we have great presence online. But you guys just see where CHOQ's headed. We're going to blow your minds in the next couple of years. I promise. I promise that. Yeah. I'm really excited for the future with CHOQ. We're working on some really cool stuff behind the scenes as far as where the company's going, the kind of mind-blowing products we're going to create in the future that are completely just industry defining. If you want to know who's on the cutting edge of supplements, look no further. It's CHOQ. I promise. I wouldn't work for a company if they didn't let me innovate. If we were some kind of BS Me Too company that was just doing the same schlock as everybody else, I would get bored as hell and I would work for somebody else. I'd get really bored with that. I would not do that. So CHOQ's the real deal. We innovate. We do cool stuff. We're always trying to make stuff better. We use expensive as hell ingredients. That's why some of our products are not the cheapest. But I got to tell you guys, I talk to the CHOQ team all the time. And if it's between a more expensive ingredient and a cheaper ingredient, 99% of the time, they're like, buy the expensive one. We do not cut corners on ingredients. And again, it's one of the reasons that some of our stuff is not the cheapest, but hey, you get what you pay for. CHOQ is a premium product, premium company, We're not just getting super rando stuff without proper labs, et cetera, on it. So, and those labs cost money. We're taking our lab game to the next level, doing even more testing. All those labs cost a lot of money. Labs are not cheap, but we pay for the labs, and at the end of the day, you can be confident that you're getting a legit product, that actually has real lab verification behind it. Obviously science is really cool when it's done right? And we have a nice balance of science and nature. We take stuff out of the ground that's completely natural, and then we use science to make sure that it's legit. And it has appropriate levels of certain toxic things in it, right? Not too many heavy metals, that it has minimum standard specifications of phytochemicals, things like that, right? So, yeah. Anyway, that's my little CHOQ commercial for you guys. Sorry if that was a little too markety, I'm not a super, I try to find a good balance, lots of good information and a few little CHOQ commercials here and there, right? All right, hour and 33 minutes, and we still got 19 people in here. Nice. CHOQ is doing it, though. Congratulations on the movement. Thank you, Noah. Appreciate that. Z says, when's the neurotropic coming out? Z, I have some bad news for you. I spent a long time formulating that. We got some other stuff we want to do first. So the nootropic is on the back burner right now. But what I have to say is the new version of Apex, one of the reasons that I put ginkgo in here, in this one, and I put more B6 in here, was because I want to make Apex more of a nootropic than it already is. And guys, we're about to re-release pre-made bundles again. We took those away earlier in the year and we did the bundle generator instead. But right now we're going to switch it out. We're going to do pre-made bundles. We're going to have, bundles that are going to be more targeted toward, focus, things like that. And so you better believe that the Apex glutathione, when it comes back out, will be in like the mood focus type bundle, right? But I mean, CHOQ already has so many things that are already nootropic. Some of our things are so great for brain function and for cognitive function and things like that. But I am going to still make that hopefully sometime next year. That one's just back burner for now. Fortunately, that was a team decision, and that's just something that happens sometimes, So, but I did all the research, and I got a pretty amazing formula there. Yeah. All right. Victoria says, who's here from Jay? Don't know what Jay is, but what CHOQ supplements do I take daily? Lucas, I take pretty much all the CHOQ supplements daily, just about the whole line, but not every day. There's some days when I skip certain ones, I don't take daily every day, which is ironic. It's called daily. I take it most days. But yeah, I take just about the whole line, actually, pretty much, give or take a couple. All right. Next year, you'll have lab packaging manufacturing offices in your new building. Not sure what that's referring to. All right. Laura says, I'm going on 6 or 7 months on CHOQ, everything but the daily, feeling amazing. That's awesome, Laura. Yeah. And the thing is that with CHOQ, like, you really want to stack the supplements together. If you start off, if you're a dude, you just start off with daily, that's a cool place to start, right? Or, if you just want to start off, a lot of people, a great place to start is ashwagandha, And again, sorry for the lack of autofocus. The autofocus is just not cooperating today, so I know it's hard to read the bottles. But yeah, ashwagandha. So taking 1 or 2 products is cool, but when you get on a full stack, you get on 4, 5, 6, 7 CHOQ products, that's really where it's at. You're going to feel a big difference. A lot of people will. And yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to get on the full stack. And these bundles, we're going to be releasing pre-made bundles again real soon. And it's going to be really cool. It's going to be super easy for people to shop. We're going to have bundles that'll have just different properties, right? Depending on what you need as an individual. The bundles will have sort of different identities, right? And tell you the strengths and weaknesses of each bundle, help you decide which one works for you. And of course, they'll be massively discounted. So you'll get a really, really awesome deal where when you buy these 6 CHOQ products together, all of a sudden you save an extra 35, 40%, right? And it just gets really, really affordable. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. Chucky Wee says, I take daily Tonkat and ashwagandha. That's an awesome combo. Yeah. What else we got here? What is the most powerful product in the lineup that you're working on coming out? So Mr. R, all right, I'll just tell you, since I know Mr. R, you've been asking about this one. Sorry, headphones fell down. So Mr. R, just to let you know, the most powerful product that I'm working on right now is going to be, drum roll, something that you can use, not exclusively for this, but you can use as a very potent pre-workout. So if you are athletic and you want to go hard, I mean, obviously we already have stuff that's great for pre-workout like Action 2.0, right? But think about Action 2.0 and make it about 3 times stronger. And that's what we're shooting for. That's the goal, is something that's like an Action 2.0 plus some of these other ones that are all good for energy, all wrapped into one. It's going to be in a powder form. It's not going to be in a capsule. So it's going to be like a big old scoop with multiple grams of stuff. You're going to be able to mix it into your drink it down, hit you in 30 minutes, hit the gym, go rock climbing, do yoga, UFC, whatever it is you're into, chess, also obviously for mental energy as well. If you're a gamer, we probably don't have too many gamers, right? Because you people are not as much into that, but whatever it is that you do, mental or physical energy, it's going to be something like that, basically. Yeah. That's the idea. So, and the idea is, because, you can go to GNC and you get some real nasty, dirty pre-workout that's really strong and really effective and, stimulating and good for pump or whatever, but it's just got all this total garbage in it, right? So the goal is I'm trying to make something that's just as potent as those, but it's not gross. It doesn't have aspartame and fake dyes in it, FD&C yellow number 5 or whatever. And, all this horrible stuff, acesulfame K, whatever it is, this nasty stuff they put in there, right? And also some nasty synthetic, like folic acid and stuff that obviously CHOQ would never use. So we want to make a really strong, totally clean, get up and go pre-workout type thing that obviously you don't have to work out on it, but you can do it for a lot of different kinds of physical and mental activity. That's the idea. That's what I'm doing. So Mr. R went ahead and just told you I was going to save it, but that's the project. And unfortunately, I can't tell you how long it's going to take for this to happen, but that is the plan. So it could be multiple months. We got a lot going on, obviously. So I'm formulating it, when I have time. But yeah, I'm playing around with some ingredients right now, and we've got some pretty cool stuff. And, there's going to be some very powerful nitric oxide boosters in there for blood flow, obviously. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome, you know. And it'll be a powder form, so it'll hit you fast, you know. Nice thing about powders is that, you know, you can get a really big dose without having to take a giant handful of capsules, right? Because, you know, you can fit 5 grams into one scoop on a powder, right? And 5 grams in capsules would be like 8 capsules, right? Because the capsules only hold about 750 milligrams. So yeah, so there you have it. So Mr. R, and of course, Mr. R, I know you're going to be chomping at the bit now and all y'all else for like a long time. And again, I can't tell you when it's going to come out. It could be maybe next summer. I have no idea how long it's going to take to make this one work. Obviously, I got to formulate it properly. I want it to be really strong. And I have to say, some of these synthetic ingredients that people use are very potent. And so doing it naturally, you know, can be a little bit challenging, but I'm up for the challenge. And that's the goal. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what, man, this has been awesome. And you guys are still going. There's like 23 people in here, hour and 40 minutes. This is literally twice as long as almost all my other videos. But I think it is time for prize number 2, and probably time to wrap it up here. This has been epic, y'all. Very cool. We'll have to do some more of these long epic ones here and there sometimes. So timer is started right now. 1 minute on the clock. Give me a number between 1 and 100, just one number only, and make sure you get it in before the timer goes off, or else you will be disqualified. Yes. But yeah, that's going to be a really fun one to formulate. I'm already having fun playing around with some ingredients in my lab, also known as my kitchen. Obviously, you know, we all work from home at CHOQ, right? There's no point in having a headquarters, just a big waste of money. At this point, to have a headquarters, obviously we have a giant warehouse, right? But, you know, no point in having to go in anywhere. So yeah. All right. 15 seconds left on the clock. Who will be our winner? Who's feeling lucky? Who's feeling psychic today? 5 seconds. All right. And we are done. Cool. So the number was 34. Who is closest to 34? Sam has 33. Seraphim got it on the nose, 34. Anybody else get it on the nose? I don't think so. Seraphim, nice work. Very nice work. All right. Seraphim, you are the clear winner. So again, double prize day, Seraphim. So that means that you get a CHOQ t-shirt, a bag of heirloom organic cacao beans, and one of any CHOQ product you want. So congratulations, Seraphim. That's awesome. You picked a great day to win on double prize day, so that's super cool. And yeah, Seraphim, thanks also for all your awesome contributions. You always got cool stuff to say, so we appreciate you. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you again. And yeah, just, you know the drill. Email CHOQ@CHOQ.com. Tell them you won prize number 2 and tell them which CHOQ product you want and what kind of CHOQ t-shirt you like. You know, it's winter now. I don't know where you live, but we do have long sleeves as well. So it's, you know, good for the winter weather. And yeah, so let's see. We're going to be coming back for another live stream. Let me see what time it's going to be on Monday. I do have that scheduled already. By the way, you know, oh, sorry, hold on. Okay, yeah. So it is, what time? Here's the link. If you want to go on there and give it a like and hit the, you know, hit the button to set a reminder, you can do that. But I'll be back on Monday at 5:00 p.m. Central. So hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. This was super epic, hour and 45 minutes almost. And you guys asked a bunch of awesome questions. We had it going for a while. Tell all your friends, tell your friends and family. Please like, subscribe, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. You know, you hear it a million times, like and subscribe. But it does help us quite a bit. We really appreciate it. Much love to all you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the regulars. Destry, Jimmy Jack, Seraphim, Laura, Lucas, Hunter, Mr. R, of course, the amazing Mr. R, Diani, Hugo, Danny, etc., Muhammad, Hunter. I already said Hunter. Raffatel, Shadow. Thanks to all the regulars, JJ, Jonathan, etc. Awesome to see you guys here all the time. Love y'all. And yeah, I'll be back here Friday, 5 p.m. Central. And we'll give some more prizes away, and we'll hang out. So much love to you guys. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Hope you do something fun. Hope you get out into nature, connect with nature. And of course, I hope you stay human. So yeah. All right. Until then, peace.